deserves the most blame for the Lakers' slow start?
Well, first of all, injuries to LeBron James, that's an obvious thing. You can point to Anthony Davis, but I'm going to look at Frank Vogel. And let me say this to my man, Charles Barkley. You know, he does a phenomenal job. He is a friend. I love him very, very dearly, and he knows that. There are times we respectfully disagree. This is one of those times. You can talk about them old-ass geezers, to quote you directly, Charles Barkley, all you want to. What I'm looking at is the 29th ranked defense in the National Basketball Association, and there's only 30 teams. You are giving up 113 points a game. I do agree with you that Frank Vogel, for the most part, is a terrific coach. He is a champion. Under no circumstances am I advocating, Swagoo, Molly, that Frank Vogel be fired. Nothing like that. What I'm saying is the Laker brand is a different brand. Period. You can try to wiggle your way around it all you want to. Stan Van Gundy, during the telecast last night, said it best. Nobody is saying that it's fair for the heat to be brought down on Frank Vogel, particularly this early when you consider the squad that was assembled and how much time it's going to take for them to learn to play together, LeBron James being injured and all of that stuff. We all get the fact that there are mitigating circumstances surrounding the situation. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the Laker brand is the Laker brand. There are expectations that come with being a member of the Lakers organization. And when you have LeBron James and Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis on the same squad, no one expects you to be the 29th ranked defense in the NBA. And more importantly, nobody expects you to be battling to be a 500 team. And if that continues, you ain't going to just get rid of Russell Westbrook. You damn sure ain't getting rid of AD or LeBron James. So what are you going to do? You're going to hold someone accountable, and that someone is going to be the coach. Rob Pelinka ain't give up being an agent to fire himself. Jeannie Buss didn't take a brother to court and get controlling interest of the team and what have you completely and to get him out of there, because she always had basically controlling interest to some degree, but she was just honoring her father's wishes. But she's always been one of the board of governors. She didn't do all of this to fight with her brother in order to sit back and accept and embrace mediocrity when the Clippers are beating you without Kawhi Leonard, when you've got the Utah Jazz, one of the best teams, when the Phoenix Suns are the reigning defending Western Conference champions, looking to elevate themselves, not getting any worse, and the Warriors are already one of the top two teams in the NBA, and Klay Thompson hasn't even come back yet. So Charles Barkley, you can say what you want. I get where you're coming from. You are right when you talk about it ain't fair to Frank Vogel. That much is true. But it is nothing wrong with people pointing out the obvious. This is the Laker brand. And there's a certain level of expectations that come with being a Los Angeles Laker. They ain't living up to it. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again, Swagoo. If Frank Vogel and the Los Angeles Lakers don't get this together by the end of the month, I don't expect him to be the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers within the next 6 or 7 weeks. I think he's going to be gone. I ain't wishing for it. I'm not calling for it. I happen to respect Frank Vogel profoundly. He's a champion and did a hell of a job a couple of years ago. But since that time, the Lakers have been a shell of themselves. And Laker Nation and Jeannie Buss, they ain't going to stand for this because that's not who they are. That's not inside information. That's not sources telling me anything. I'm saying watching the Lakers and covering the NBA the way that I have for the last quarter century plus, the Lakers don't do business like that.
Right.
And Frank Vogel better recognize that.
Let's get to Marcus, and then I have some.
Hey, what's up? Nice sunny day, December 8th, 2021. It is Jag Manga. This is Jaggy Sports. Last night, Lakers won in LA against the Celtics, minus Jaylen Brown. He wasn't playing. Jason Tatum went off, and Lakers trio, the big three, actually did fairly well in the game. LeBron James with 30 points, Russ Westbrook with 24, and I believe Anthony Davis had 16 and 15 rebounds. after a not so great first half. So that's just one game. You got to keep going. You got to keep continuing. And, it's fair to say that I know Charles Barkley said basically it's all about, you know, not blaming Frank Vogel. I get it. He's saying they're a bunch of geezers. Stephen A. Smith is saying they can't guard a pick and roll, which they can't. Frank Vogel, he prides himself on defense. And when you pride yourself on defense, you win championships, you win games. And when you play defense, that's what wins. And that's what he's known for. It's just like Tom Thibodeau. That's what Tom Thibodeau is known for. Quinn Snyder, he's a good coach. Steve Kerr, he's a good coach. He does the same thing. But it was working for the first 2 years. But now it's a different team. And it's not really working with this Lakers team. Last night worked. I'll give him that much. But it's just one game. And when it's just one game, it's kind of like the Lakers need to man up and play better defense and actually win some games. Tomorrow night they have Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies, I believe, took them to the limit with John Morant in the lineup. But if you follow much NBA, the Grizzlies are undefeated without John Morant because he had that left knee sprain. So it'd be interesting what happens tomorrow night. So basically, will the Lakers still fire Frank Vogel? That remains to be seen, but if the Lakers can actually find a consistent rhythm, because LeBron James never really had consistency because he got injured, he's suspended, COVID and whatnot. So he basically just needs more time with the team to itself. But it's kind of like you have Anthony Davis, you have Russell Westbrook. You should be able to win games without LeBron James, but clearly that's not the case. LeBron James is a centerpiece, and he does get the job done, but they would like for them to have a bench. Well, guess what? You got 3 guys eating away, I think, $110 million a year. So you got to expect that to have no bench at all. And, do I think the Lakers will still fire Frank Vogel? I think that is the case. I think that they will still fire Frank Vogel if they start consistently losing. And was yesterday a turning point? Well, that remains to be seen. If they can't beat Memphis tomorrow, then you know that something's coming down the pipe. Something's coming down the pipe. You have all these all-stars, and you still can't beat an all-star list team, as in Memphis Grizzlies. So, basically, I think it's time that the Lakers actually part ways with Frank Vogel. He is not getting the job done. He doesn't have that chemistry with this new team, and it just, I get it. It comes down to effort, and it is all about effort, but it also is about defensive schemes, offensive schemes, and the one thing I have against Frank Vogel is he never played Montrezl Harrell in last year's playoffs. And look what he's doing in Washington right now, even though they lost quite a few games. But it's a matter of time. So we'll see what happens with the Lakers and Memphis Grizzlies if they do decide to fire him, which I think they will. Jag Manga, Jaggy Sports. It is December 8th, 2021.